All right. Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So let's jump on into this. Happy lunchtime for anybody who's in my time zone. By the way, just giving my members a heads up. Just don't forget, members, this Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., I'll be doing our members only card pull session. We do that every month. So I just posted, I'll give you guys a reminder post tomorrow as well. And then I'll see you guys Friday morning. All right. Now, let's get to this story. This is our collective. We start out with somebody's mind is worried. The mice tend to nibble. They chew through things and they do it in the walls and they do it places we don't see it. So this is somebody has got a worry that has been in the back of their mind. Ooh, it's a worry, but you notice that this little mouse is about to chomp all the way through this shredded whatever this thread is. Somebody feels like something they're about to do is risky. It's like rolling the dice. They're hoping for some good luck. They're hoping for some good fortune. Annie S., great to see you, love. Um, ooh, and then we got the book. It's something that will change their book of life. It's something that they would be opening up a chapter or reopening up a book, something that they locked at some point in time. This could be the book of love, the book of wisdom. Look, I feel like we have someone who's been very stressed out, feeling like I don't know what this is going to yield. I don't know if I should be doing this. Should I be trying to open this up? This could be somebody who wants to send like a love message to an individual. Okay, we have a card that has much to do with um, the minutia, the details. By the way, we do have card 23, 39, 26, and 44 now. Um, this to me can also be somebody who's been like doing some pretty intense spying. They've been looking really closely, and I almost feel like they're about to take action. And then they're like, what's going to happen? I don't know. I don't know. If I open up this can of worms, then in turn, I could be really highly scrutinized or looked at really closely. So, wait a second. What is this about? Can we see a little bit more? Deep Rogers, wonderful to see you, love. We have got, okay, the owls. Now, this is normally, first off, we'll say owls are night hunters. We see one owl in action, the other one is not. Oftentimes, though, this can be um, going and getting advice from others on what action to take. This could be I'm feeling more like this is a late night. Maybe this is somebody talking to their friend, their buddy, their girl, whatever. And, like, okay, listen, I feel like I want to just go ahead and send this message. And somebody's like, yeah, just do it. Just do it. It's like, okay, it's 3 a.m. Yeah, you should just do it. Just freaking get it out of your system. Just send the message. Do what you got to do. Normally, this is going to be about getting some kind of advice. And I feel like if this character has been saying, oh my God, I don't know what to do. This is crazy. I probably shouldn't do this, but I really, I almost can't stop myself because I keep thinking about it. I keep looking at it. And then they get advice from somebody who's like, just go for it. Just get it out of your system. What's the worst that's going to happen? Okay, let's get one more out of this deck and then we'll shift over because this could still go in a lot of different ways. We have the Tree of Life here. I figured this has to have something to do with either telling a person who's really important to them a very important truth. Now, let's not jump to the conclusion this is about love or romance. It may not be. This could be someone's been nervous about telling a family member, look, I don't want to work in the family business anymore. I love you, but, or, I don't want to live with you. I love you, but I don't want to be that, tightly interwoven. That could also be the reverse. Somebody's saying, I've been feeling like I really want to open up a connection again. I haven't talked to whatever, a family member in a long time. And it's awful because we're related and, we have history and really, I want them back in my life. Should I reach out to the person I've been estranged from? This could also be about love though. All we can say for sure is that it's about someone important and they're about to take an action because someone else has said, you should do it. You should just do it. I really want to know more about that card 44 first. What is all the high detailed, magnifying glass? Okay, so we have a 9 of swords and we have the 10 of swords in the reverse. Okay, so I will say this. Remember that card preceded them communicating all this to whomever they were looking for advice from. So we're going to go ahead and say we could have a divine masculine who knows how incredibly stressed out they have been, have always been, and have remained over a very painful ending that nothing was handled well. Whatever terrible ending there was between themselves and another person, what I think they've done is they've looked internally and they've decided, I can't even handle this because I'm up at night. I still think about this. It bothers me to no end. And it's because something was done wrong. Something was mean-spirited. Something was awful. Something should never have happened that happened. And they can't get it off their conscience is what I would say. Okay, let me go back to that kind of already explains these first couple cards to me. Why do you think it's such a risk though? Why would it be such a risk to potentially, take action, reach out to this person? Wow, Four of Wands. It's a big risk because depending on how it goes, if they actually love this person, wanted to marry this person, then it's kind of like once they shoot their shot, if they don't get the answer that they want, then this is what they lose. All potential of ever, say this is an estranged couple, then let's say this is about love. Let's say this is even a married couple and they've, parted ways. He can't get over the parting of the ways. And whatever was done wrong that made this ending occur, he's awake a lot at night thinking about it. And what's risky is that if he reaches out to attempt to resolve things and the answer is no, then that goes down the drain too. Right now, there's still a hope. As long as he never reaches out and tries to course correct it, it's like there's always a chance that it could get corrected. But once I've tried it, if the answer is no, it's going to be a flat out no. So what's at stake here is a marriage, unless this is somebody who's like, I need to try to broach the subject with my family about a person that I want to date or marry, but they haven't accepted that person. And what's at stake is if they still won't accept it, I'm going to have to say, well, that's too bad, family, because I'm going to marry the person that I want to marry. I just don't really want to go with that story because I only deal in stories with adults, and that to me, no true adult is going to like say, well, oh my gosh, I have to stay away from somebody that I love because, mom and dad don't like them. Mom and dad are in their 60s. I'm in my 40s, but, I can't marry the person that I want because mom and dad don't approve. That just doesn't seem like, once there are times in our lives where the family pressure is always heavy, but I still feel like that doesn't really resonate with me very well because that doesn't seem like an adult is going to let themselves be too overwhelmed by the family pressures. I mean, I shouldn't say that because there's so many other circumstances where, of course, that kind of family pressure could be significant enough to make somebody have to, there's a billion scenarios and we can't deal with billions of scenarios. But I'm just trying to argue the reason I think that this is probably not that story is because it would be such a very specific and small scenario where family pressures could be significant enough that they would have waited and held off, telling somebody that they want to marry a person that the family doesn't approve of, is how it feels to me. Just because, it's 2025 and we kind of choose what we want. We're not in Victorian eras and, so I would just argue that would be, although I could still see it happening, I don't think that's what the story is. This feels more like they're just worried about dealing with the actual person, the person that they still hope to actually marry despite a very terrible ending. What are they asking about for support here or advice from that whomever their friend or colleague, or maybe it's them sitting down with the universe and trying to talk to their higher self and say, what should I do? Queen of Cups. The conversation is, I love this person. This person loves me. I love this person. And they have like an energy about them of like, I know that they love me. They don't want anything from me. I know that this is a person who has only good motives toward me. So how would I let somebody like that slip away when they've never been anything but kind? They've never been anything but loving. And they don't They haven't wanted anything from me that is insincere. I know that about them. Then why did you have a breakup? What was the breakup about? The High Priestess, the Eight of Pentacles. I mean, the Eight of Pentacles says somebody was still pretty invested in what they were doing with their own life, their own career. And deep down, they knew that they were, and look at how focused this person is on what they need to accomplish, right? And it could have been right person, wrong time. It could have been that this individual, met someone that they knew really loved them, that they knew was a wonderful person, even the person that they knew that they wanted to marry at some point in time. But at the time that they met this individual, they also knew deep down, I'm not giving them what they deserve. I'm highly focused on my own Eight of Pentacles. I'm not giving them the attention, and I know it and they know it. I'm not going to be satisfying them because I'm very, well, in this case, kind of self-focused or even selfish in what my pursuit is. So again, how did things end so badly, so painfully, though, with that Ten of Swords in the reverse? Did it seriously end over text? Is that what it is? Did they end over a text message? Two of Wands in the reverse, Temperance. A Page of Coins is very tiny amount of communication, very tiny amount of communication, but it ended like, this was no way to say goodbye. This was no way to have handled something with a person that you thought was that lovely, a person that you thought was the kind of person that you want to marry. Like that's I think what they're reflecting on is like a person that I felt that much emotion for, that important. I feel like this was an abrupt ending with a very minimal itty bitty conversation, not even a conversation, like literally it might have been, because the pages are very small. They're the children of the deck. They're the little messengers, but it might have been literally a text. And it was very much like, okay, well, that summarized it. They didn't respond, so all done. That must just be fine. It's like they took the easiest route for themselves. So it does feel like probably the equivalent of a disrespectful, almost abandonment kind of thing is what they are realizing. Why are you so stressed about it? I'm guessing it's because it was handled really poorly. But Ten of Pentacles, Page of Cups, because if they've achieved what they wanted to, before they were all Eight of Pentacles, they were really self-focused. They're really stressed out now because this is like, now I'd like to come in and say sorry, and I'd like to get them to work with me again. And now I'd want to give, and now we could have this wonderful Ten of Pentacles. I'm just really stressed out. I don't know if that would work. I don't know if she'd want to talk to me anymore. Why did you take such an easy route or such a tiny amount of effort when you basically like ended things with her in the past? The Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. Queen of Wands upright, Prince of Wands. So here's the real problem with this. There's two things here. First off, they decided that, well, it's not that I don't want them. It's that I can't give them more than this right now. I just want passion with her. She's really hot, and I want to be able to come and go in and out of her life as I can and as I choose to. I'm not going to give stability right now because it's not the right time for me to give stability. But of course I want to be with her, but it's going to be on my terms. It's not even that I'm going to breadcrumb her. I just want to get what I want from her and pop in and out when it's convenient for me. I mean, there's nobody else I want but her. But as far as me giving to her, oh gosh, no, not right now. So that's in their mind, it wasn't that they were even like breaking up with her. It was just like, if she won't let me pop in and out of her life as I want to, then I guess I just stay away from her completely right now. It's like they thought of this connection like it was something that, if it's not working out, then you just set it aside and come back to it some other time. And they were content with this. It worked for them. That's why it was so simple. This person tends to, I would say, compartmentalize. They always try to get what they want, but they also compartmentalize, and maybe even think just, I'll say overly logically, but it's not just that. I do think that we're dealing with someone who has been all about number one. even though they met somebody that they thought, wow, that's a person I'd want to have a happy relationship with, it still seems like it was, but I'm busy with other stuff right now, which is totally understandable. Sometimes, we got to do what we got to do too. It's not selfish to have to attend to other situations, right? It's not selfish to have things that we have to do in our lives, but this was handled in a callous manner. I mean, there's no way around it. This was handled with a text message ending. And it was like, yep, okay, done. And they were fine with it at that time. They were completely fine with the way things ended. What has changed their mind about, hey, that was actually horrible? Where did that thought come from, that was horrible, that I ended things like that way? Princess of Swords, Six of Swords. I don't know if this person sometimes is robotic or what, but what they have come to realize, at least as some time has passed, is that they may have spied, I'm going to say on her, and recognize she's over them. It might just now be hitting them that, wait a second, I ended things with her because I wasn't ready to give to her, even though I want to marry her later. But since she wouldn't let me come in and out as a knight whenever I had time, then I just cut things off. But, in my head, at some point, I was still going to be with her. But what I forgot is that I just actually ended the connection with her. She's not saying, okay, sure, we just won't talk if you can't give me more, but I'll still hold space for you. Whenever you come back, I'll still be yours. He's just now realizing, wait a minute, I basically set her free into the wild to move on, to heal, to forget me, and to meet some other lover. She's gone. She's not even where I thought she was before. She's not still mine. I don't know. Did this person have this? It's like they operate only from their own context, only from their own mindset. They cannot see the world through any lens but their own, which is true to a small extent for everybody. But this person took it to 11, this is like, I only see the world through my eyes. That's the only way that the world works, is through what I understand. Okay, goodness gracious. So let's go back over and let me ask one more time about the owls, because that's where the advice is coming from. Three of Pentacles, whoever it is who is advising them, well, if you can't sleep and if you really want her and if you, blah, 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 then, what are you doing? Go talk to her. Go try to work on things with her. Try to go work it out. This is just either their higher self says, I don't even know what you're, grumping about. There's only one path forward, which is you want her. You have definitely been spying on her. We saw that twice now. She's gone, and that you'd have to go get her back. You'd have to convince her to want to work with you again. That's your answer. I don't even understand what you're, chewing on, hemming and hawing about, thinking it's a big risk, thinking this and that. You literally have one of two choices. You stay gone and you never see her again, and she moves on happily with somebody else, and maybe already has. Or you try to get back into her life and try to convince her to pick you again if she is with someone else, or try to get back into her life if she isn't with somebody else. But that's it. You only got two choices here. Hemming and hawing and staying, worried in your mind and being like, yeah, but if I try to get with her and she says no, then I know that it's so much to risk. But the option is do nothing, and you can guarantee that you're not getting back with her. So this is very simple. You know what? I kind of like the straightforward advice. This owl's just sitting here like, what the hell? I don't even understand what this conversation is for. You do it or you don't do it. It's a Yoda moment. Do or do not do. There is no try. Let's go over to the Wheel of Fortune, or excuse me, the Tree of Life. We have the High Priestess. We have the Queen of Cups once again. If they really feel, and they do, obviously, they feel in the core of their soul, as they always have, she's the one for me. She's the person I have to end up with. Look, we already had the High Priestess for them. We also already had them looking at her as their Queen of Cups. They have known since the first time they met her, this is the person I'm supposed to be married to. Him, her, doesn't matter, whatever gender we're talking about. They have known since the first time they met her, that's my person. Maybe that, when I said that, this person possibly operates on like a robotic mechanism where they only see the world through their lens. I'm almost wondering, because we've seen the High Priestess twice and the Queen of Cups twice, and this Tree of Life, I'm almost wondering if for them, they're like, in all the world, I already know this is my person. It doesn't matter that I can't instantly be with them because it's such a sure thing. I know that this is my person. And in their mind, they kind of were able to leap ahead to the future outcome that they were just like, of course she has to be the person that I'm with. But time is fluid. I know I'm ending up with her. Even if I can't be with her right now, I can totally accept that because I've got other stuff I got to take care of. But she's still mine, whether I'm with her or not. She's my person. And it almost feels like that is the essence of where they've always been at energetically. But that's fine to, sense it and feel it. But we're not just living in the 5D realm. That would be like saying, oh, I love, this person, but you forget that they're a human who needs to eat and shower and laugh and have, someone beside them and someone to hold them. And, like you can't just say, well, energetically, you're mine and I'm yours. So if I don't see you for however many years, it doesn't matter because you're still the one for me. I mean, we could say on the flip side, maybe that's a beautiful way to think of it. No, there's no time then they haven't still felt like she's my person and I'm hers. Time and distance don't matter. And I do think that that is true in love. But this is like, but there was no obstacle to you being able to give more appropriately in the connection. But to you kind of operated more in the 5D and we're like, yeah, but that's fine if I'm not with her in the 3D. Now they realize that wasn't fine. That thought process isn't fine because she's actually been moving on because you actually ended things with her and you didn't even realize it at the time. You gave some weird text message and you were completely content with that and you moved on to do whatever you needed to do while still imagining she was yours, not realizing for her you ended things and in a disrespectful manner and she's the one who moved on. So this is a big realizations, I think. And yet nothing has changed, like more than ever. They're like, but she's the one for me. She can't move on because she's the one for me. But you can't treat people like they're a pair of shoes that you choose not to wear for 3 years and you tuck them in the closet and then one day you pull them out and they're, oh, this is my favorite pair of shoes. Yeah, I save these only for special occasions. It's fine to do with shoes, not with a person. Oh, good heavens. I'm telling you, this person. Okay, so Prince of Swords, we see them twice flying in, right? Wings widespread, here I go. This is chaos. This is Loki. Loki is god of chaos. He comes bombing in on his peregrine falcon. By the way, thank you guys for giving this video a thumbs up if you're here watching right now. It really does help the channel. Thank you for subscribing. Those two things are totally free to do, but it really does help the channel. So if you're enjoying this content, thank you so much for choosing to support my free art. It's the only way I can continue to do it is with your support because that's how it is for all content creators, the free content that we produce. If the algorithm doesn't see you guys liking it and favoring it, then it doesn't get circulated and then we can't do this anymore. So thank you everybody for not only supporting my channel, but anyone that you choose to watch. I know it takes a second and it's just an action, but it really helps us. So if you didn't know that, thank you. It's really kind of you. Prince of Swords is Loki. Prince of Pentacles, though, why are you going fast and going slow? This is, I feel like this is them again, going back to that dice card. How do I want to chuck the dice? How do I want to do this? I'm kind of shaking it. I'm kind of about to roll it. Do I go fast or do I go slow? This is more like they're trying to figure out their approach. I thought they were just going to like randomly jump in and just blurt stuff out, but instead we see them possibly playing with going slower. Electro beats you, Angel. Thank you, love. Thank you so much. You are so generous. Thank you, honey. Okay, Nine of Swords, they're really scared. They're letting their fears continuously get the best of them, which is ironic because before they did what they thought made perfect sense for them, they didn't really have a whole lot of consideration for maybe how things were going for her. And now they're the ones that are like petrified to reach out. So you notice that we have like a pretty big energy here of When the shoe is on the other foot, you notice that it doesn't feel so good to be nervous. But they weren't nervous before when they sent a text to break up with her or put her on hold or put her back in the shoebox and tuck her in the closet until later. So this is like karma, kind of, this discomfort, this, oh my God, how do I open back up this conversation? How do I do this? I mean, it's probably good that they're learning how to be uncomfortable because of the actions that they took in the past. And they've only just now realized the repercussion of that and what it's costing them and they may have lost. So they're very nervous, but I actually think it's good for them to be nervous because they kind of have earned that. Also, it tells me they're not a robot now. Now they've had some realizations. Now they're feeling the feels of, holy shit, what did I do? 5 of Cups. Now they're starting to realize, what if I never can get her back? What if there's no chance? What if I just blew it with the love of my life because I treated her like a pair of shoes I could put in a shoebox and tuck away? Him, her, again, doesn't matter what gender, but we can see it's real now. This is what they're going to have to do if they're going to be able to come toward her. They're going to have to swallow all those fears, acknowledge them, and they're going to have to come forward anyway. They're going to have to emperor up, cowboy up, cowgirl up, and say, that's the whole point. Like, I can't even fathom, what if I never get her back in my life? No, I can't let that be the way this goes. So I got to be so amazing that regardless of what happened in the past, regardless of the fact that she's moved on from me, I got to be so freaking amazing that she wants to pick me. That means I got to come in and I got to be really strong and I got to offer the best of me. I got to show her what I would give to her now. Yeah, in the past, I was busy with my 8 of Pentacles and I just let her go and gave a text message to be like, busy, not dating you now, peace out, or whatever. I'm not saying they texted that, but it was the equivalent. It may have been that much of a dismissal. Now they're going to have to come in with not just their A game. They're going to have to come in with their triple A game. They're going to have to come in and try to make her want them. Because right now she doesn't, and she's gone. So at this point, good, you figured it out. You figured out what it's going to take. 5 of Wands, and they're back at the drawing board. Okay, so I've got to be the Emperor. How do I do this? How do I come in as the Emperor? I've thought myself through this round and round and round. I feel like they're like up all night again, picturing what to say, deciding how to conduct themselves, deciding what it's going to take. Justice. There we go. There we go. That was the missing component. All this time, I didn't know if they had yet fully understood why it was so messed up, the way they had treated this situation, especially somebody that they love so much. The biggest thing that they're going to have to do is acknowledge, which, okay, they do know, because we saw the 10 of Swords in the reverse and we saw them twice with the 9 of Swords. We know they're big stressed. We know now that they understand the context of how they handled things in the past. But to like fully comprehend, that's why it was so messed up. This was unfair treatment. This is not the way you treat somebody. They really need to know that. The Justice card, this is karma. Even them having to acknowledge, I may never be able to win her back because how could I have behaved that way in the past? It's almost like they're growing up and we're watching them like grow up, like mentally and emotionally in the span of this storyline. Even them going from like being freaked out and realizing she might really be gone, and them trying to figure out how to approach, and they're thinking about coming in as a knight, only finding out there's no way that's going to work, that I'm sure I'll lose her then. There's no way she'll talk to me if I come in as a knight. Okay, I got to come in as an emperor. But oh shit, I'm seeing it as an emperor. Well, that was super messed up what I did. An emperor wouldn't leave their person out there unprotected. An emperor wouldn't put their career ahead of everything else and text message and break up with somebody. An emperor wouldn't pull a stunt like that. I wasn't an emperor back then. Now that I am, now I can see the depth of what was so, jacked up about this. Good. We see them getting the full comprehension. That's awesome. That to me says now they've changed. They really, truly, this matters. And the way they behave matters now in a way that they didn't really comprehend that before. So good for you. You're getting there. We got a Queen of Pentacles. We got the Temperance. Okay, now they got a better plan on how to approach. They need to come in with some serious reverence. They need to come in and tell her who she is to them. They need to offer her something. And this, they got to build a foundation. It can't just be like, well, she's so loving. I loved how she used to love me. I want that back. You don't get to come in and ask for that. You need to come in and offer something of stability, because that's what you didn't give her before. No queen's going to let you come back in when you're too risky. You're not somebody she can rely on. Their mind is changing, even the way they look at her. What would she have wanted? She would have wanted somebody she could count on. That's one of the things I liked about her. She was loving, she was kind, she gave to me, but I could also rely on that. I wasn't reliable for her. That's the first foundational thing I have to come in and offer her and say, if you give me a chance, I'll show you that now I'm reliable. I'm somebody that is a solid foundation. I know that that's who you are. I know that that's what you want. That's, if you give me a chance, I'll show you that that's what I can offer you now. Maybe I did have to go out and get my finances figured out so I could give foundation. Didn't handle it right, but I at least have done that. And now I can start on equal footing with you. I can show you that I am a stable platform. I'm someone you can rely on, someone you can lean on. That might be the best way, or at least for an emperor, to recognize that you have to build trust. It's not going to be about emotions, and she certainly isn't going to be giving her emotions to them anytime soon, not when they've already dipped out before ended. Most important thing is she was nice to me and she was sexy. So big changes. Good for them. All right, I'm going to leave this so much. Take care. I really appreciate you guys hanging with me. All right, bye for now.